Okay, so this more or less another problem for us to sort of prepare. Okay, due to the time crisis. So we have a random question, and then now the question says that we are supposed to devise a computer solution that can be used to find the position of the last occurrence of a given number from a set of inputs. You may dry run. We already know what the dry run means. Dry run means that after we are done with our code, you should test it with some values to check whether the code runs. So the question now said that let the number you want to find uh, the last position of its occurrence be the number 2. So in that case, we are looking for the position of 2. And then in the long run now becomes 22. I'm going to explain. If we move from here, 1, this becomes the first position. This becomes the second position, third position, fourth position, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, till we get to wherever. Now 2 is in the second position over here, but 2 is also in the fourth position. 2 comes to, I think there's the seventh or whatever position. If there's fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, this is the eighth position. 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th. The same 2 is also in the 15th position. 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, the same 2. Now 2 is in the 22nd position. The 22nd position is the last occurrence of the number 2. Now, there are some things we might not have done. So let me just say it this way. We can take a look at this question from different points of views. Okay. With this, we're given a set. So let's say we have a bucket or a container and it contains a lot of numbers. We know the number of numbers in a container. So we can say, okay, give me all the numbers in a container one by one. And I'm going to check the last time I'll count 2, that position. If it's the 15th, I'll say, okay, the last position of 2 is 15th. In this case, when we check, the last position of 2 was actually 22nd. So let's take a look at the next slide to actually help us think of how to go around this question. Now the clues, how do we go around this one? First clue is they should either there should either be forget about the English and listen to what I'm saying. There should either be a set of numbers already there for him to go through. So if this is supposed to, what do you call it, explain, if this is supposed to be something that someone is supposed to check, then it's either you have a list of items that you want us to go through. That's English, correct? And then now the second one now says that it's either there is already a list that we'll be going through, or the user would have to tell us the number of numbers he wants to search, okay, and then the particular number that he wants to search for the last item, the last position, last occurrence, okay. So we need to start writing our code with respect to the kind of assumption we make over here. Okay, this is an empty screen, so this is basically where we are going to start writing the stuff. We are going to make the assumption that the user doesn't really have a set already there. What the user knows is it is going to take a particular set of numbers from us. It's going to enter numbers randomly, like for a particular number of times. So if the user is supposed to enter 100 numbers, then in the long run, when he's done entering all the 100 numbers, we will ask the user, which number do you want to find the last occurrence? So basically, we need the user to input the keywords. I'm going to use a capital letter just to make sense over here. Input, so I'm going to bolden it. So when you see a capital letter, basically, I'm trying to use a reserved wording here. So I'm saying input. This one has to be small. It is not compulsory. This is my way of sort of creating a distinction. Okay, number of numbers. Okay, some can use a letter, but make sure when you use a letter to represent your variable, it is meaningful. All right, I don't know how this one is going to be any meaningful, but so number of numbers, and then this is going to be another number that the user will be entering. So if the 2 is what the user is looking for, input the particular number, okay. So this is a variable the user has to enter before we start. So if I'm going to enter 100 numbers over here, input number of numbers, the user will say I'm going to enter 100 numbers. And then over here too, there is a particular number I want to search for its last occurrence. That particular number is the particular number over here. So basically that's the stuff. Because the user has already told us where he's going to, the number of numbers he's going to start, I need a for loop. So for, and I'm going to say there should be a variable I. There should be a variable I, and I'm setting that variable from 1, and it's supposed to be increased till I get to the number of numbers. So if it's supposed to be 100, then I'm going to be increasing till I get to 100. So that's basically this. When the user is done saying this, because we know that we are going to be stepping 1, basically we don't write it. All the same for those who want to be writing. This is the stuff. Now we don't have bulletin in code, so it's because it is PowerPoint, that's why it's coming like that. So basically, for I equals 1, 2, the time I now becomes having, and the time I has the value of a number of numbers. Take note of something over here. Right now I'm trying to use indentation for you to sort of get what we are doing over here. So in this case, I'm going to, it's not compulsory to use indentation, it's just for readability. In this case, I'm going to say something over here. As the value of I keeps changing, I want the user to enter a new number, input number, okay, input number. When the user enters a number, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to check whether the number that the user entered, if the number is equal to particular number. This is a condition. If you don't understand what a condition is, you can go and watch the condition videos. If this number that the user entered just now over here is equal to particular number that the user gave us when we started writing our code, then what should it do? Wow, there's something we should have talked about. Basically, it was intentional and I left it. What you want to do is, before you start taking the numbers from the user, because we've not started, we want to store something over here. It's a variable. We'll call it last location. Last, let me say it, last occurrence. And because we've not taken any number from the user, I'm going to store last occurrence, set it to 0. The moment number is equal to particular number, the particular kind of I that I'm currently on, the particular kind of I that we are on, you know, I is going to be changing anytime the loop runs. So what I'll do is I'll set last occurrence to the value of I that I'm currently on. So for this part, I'm going to bold in the I just for you to see. Okay, if you are watching from a distance, zoom in. Alright, so basically that's it. And then when I'm done, I'll end my if. When I end my if, I'm not going to do anything again. All I'm going to do is, wait. So I'm going to end my for as well. Something is wrong here. And if, wow. So the indentation was just to bring readability. So I'll end my for as well. Okay, I only made the reserved words capital. It's not really a big deal. And then indentation was just for readability's sake. Don't think it's compulsory. So over here, after I end my for, there's a value that I declared inside, outside the loop. Then that value changed inside the loop. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to call that value to be printed on the screen. So I'm going to say something like print last occurrence, last occurrence, last occurrence. Is that right? Okay. The last occurrence, that's the number, the particular number of the particular position that the I ended at. This is the I. Okay, so last occurrence, comma. I put this in code because I just want this particular statement to be printed. Last occurrence of, you can say last occurrence is equal to whichever thing you want to write. Just do something for me to understand. That's basically what you want to say. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So last occurrence is then. Wow. Let me write it this way. So this is a string. Last occurrence is, and then your comma, and then the name of the variable. Variable is last occurrence. Right. That's the stuff. We are done. Okay. So this a way of going around the question. In this case, you were not given any set of inputs. You were taking the numbers from the user, depending on the number of times that he said the number of numbers were going to be. So that's the stuff. That's the end of the something.